Remember I was telling you that the number of employees is kind of going down, but the number of the projected retirees keeps going up. And one thing the state treasurer said, he is really concerned because in a few years, we're gonna have close to 500,000 people retired collecting a pension, and where are we gonna get the money from? So we've got to get somebody that can invest that money, and he is worried about it. Okay, so then what else are we doing? So they work to make sure it's healthy and everything. Now the state treasurer also goes after people that get overpayments. If they found out that you got too much by mistake, they're gonna go after you, and they actually got back $11 million. Now, and they have to get it right away before you spend it. The Social Security leveling, Gaston County, you're Gaston. Okay, back about a year ago, somebody that lives in Gaston County, I think who taught in Kings Mountain, called my friend Betsy Wells and said he was doing Social Security leveling. So when he was 62, they were supposed to go down on his pension, reduce the pension. But the treasurer's office didn't do that. Somehow the computer system didn't do everything right. Usually they send you notices a year or two out, like, don't forget. And when you sign up for the Social Security leveling, they tell you exactly how it's gonna work, and you're kind of signing off on it. And then they remind you a year before, they remind you that year. This guy went for 10 years and collected more money, and he did not realize, he just forgot, he said. So he didn't realize, so he calls Betsy Wells. Betsy calls me and said, well, I really can't give constituent advice and stuff, but I suggested he call Marge Foreman. Well, he never called. But at the next meeting, I can ask questions. So I asked, and I said, well, there was this man, and I relate the story, and I found out something that they were never gonna talk about. There were 45 people, something like 42 to 45 people in that same situation. And it took them about 6 months to go back over all these cases and try to figure out what to do. 3 people paid what they owed, which was over $100,000. So the rest of the people were put on payment plans, and they knew they could, they're like in their 70s. They knew they couldn't take all their pension. What were they gonna live on? And so, I don't know, I keep asking like how much it was, but I think maybe a couple $100 a month, and that maybe was it. And he said they realized, this is state treasurer speaking, that they would never be able to recoup that money. But yet they felt sorry for those people, because it was their mistake. It was their mistake. So if something happens, take the monthly payment plan. The other thing is about felony forfeitures. They passed a law that if you commit crimes, when you're actually, in a job, that you're going to lose your pension. I think you only lose it for the period of time where you were committing this. Like we have a registered deeds in Wake County, and I think she lost her pension for the time during which she was taking the money, embezzling, which was maybe a period of about 10 years, I'm not sure. Okay, almost. And then the other thing, fraud. There was a man who shared an account with his mom, and the mom died. He moved to Florida. She kept the account open. He was drawing her pension for maybe like 10 years, a long time. He owed over $100,000. He owed a bunch of money. And so they're going against him. They're going to get the money back. They're charging him with fraud. He knew what he was doing. It wasn't a mistake. So and then the whole thing is, they'll talk about, the pensions and how much everything costs. When the state treasurer tells how much the pension or the COLA is going to cost, he kind of jacks up the price a little bit because he actually includes what it's going to cost for local employees and federal employees when the state's only responsible for state employees. So it's not like 68%, it's more like in 48, it's not 68 million, it's more like 48 million. So the difference is in the numbers. And you have to ask questions, and again, that's when you find out what's really going on. Now the last, and there's another thing too. I want to see if I can't find, does anybody have like a 401k or I think they're 457, I don't know if they're Bs or what they are, and then you invested money through the retirement system, and then you've been taking money out of that. Okay, we've got a yes over here. And so if you did invest that, and when you took it out, when you paid your 1099-R, and when you got the 1099-R, did they charge you state tax? If they charge you state tax, you should be under the Bailey decision probably, and you should not be paying state tax. And I found 2 people that have been paying that. And so, and I've called about that, and they said that they've been looking at it, and that's not supposed to happen. But if, when you have to start taking money out of your 401k, or that, and you've invested through the state, you need to be sure that you're not paying tax, or they're gonna owe you that money, because that's not correct.